Thanks for listening to the AZ12 podcast. I am your host, Mike Luke, joined by Jason Shear. Hello, Jason. Hello, Jason Shear. How are you doing today?
Splendid, Michael. Thank you.
All right. We got a lot to get to today. Shear's going to be here for like 30 minutes. Then the big dog, the man that is going to be far more successful than either one of us have ever thought about being, the great Brody Dryden. And then there is and then we will have a surprise guest at the end. Okay. We're going to talk Arizona, Kansas. We're going to talk about Tommy Lloyd's comments. And also, I want to take a victory lap on something here. All the people out there that said there's no such thing as a venomous rat, I look at the headlines, look at what happened to a famous celebrity. That rat was venomous. I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to say. I'm a humble victor, as all of you know. I will. So all the people that told me, Mike, there's no such thing as a venomous rat, you are wrong. There is a venomous rat out there. Okay, now.
You see me spill water all over myself just now?
Well, no, and it's funny. Ted Wardo came up and just dropped. This is very dangerous for me. He just dropped his cheese bone in my lap, like right in my groin area.
Yep.
And no.
I just drank water and just spilled it. I just completely missed my mouth.
Yes. Okay. So there is. Yes. All right. Now I want to give a shout out to somebody here. Isn't Rich Carrillo a venomous rat? Absolutely. Okay. A couple things that we need to talk about first. I want to give a big shout out to a person that I've been very rough on throughout the season, and he is on this team, Trey Townsend. Jeremiah Dibble, the great Jeremiah Dibble in here, said, my bad, Trey. There's definitely not a my bad, Trey movement, but Trey played hard. I thought this was a big time effort from Trey. Again, he, like I said, he was giving me the middle finger that entire game, and you know what? I deserved it. Good job, Trey.
Is March Trey a thing? Is this a thing?
Well, I don't know. I mean, you know what's gonna? I'm gonna crack up if Trey's now starts putting up like 15 and 10.
That's what I'm saying. Like, okay, we're not going to discuss it yet, right? March Trey, we're not going to be serious about it yet. If on Thursday he drops like 15 points against Kansas, we got to discuss it.
Right. Hey, Joseph, all right. Mike backing up. No, here's where I'm at with him.
Yeah, just address this. And I'm
going to address this one time. Exactly. I'm not a fan. Obviously, I'm not a fan of it, but I should have kept it on basketball. Because there was a lot of stuff that I could have said about basketball. I should have kept it on basketball. I didn't keep it on basketball. One of the things that I like to do is I like to be able to just kind of keep things lighthearted and understand that it's just sports. That's one of my mottos, and I failed on that one. Again, I'll never have anybody. If he tweets at me again, I will go back at him, but I'm going to keep it basketball related. That's the way that I have no problem admitting when I'm wrong. I shouldn't have done that. Period. Point blank. And again, I'm guessing this thing isn't over yet. I'll put it to you like that. But it will stay basketball related. Let's move on. Agreed. Okay. Now,
and my dream is that Illinois is to 5 and Arizona is to 4 in the same pod. That's forcing them to see each other.
We got to interview each other. We got to interview each other.
Bury the hatchet and become best friends.
And I will go up to him and I will shake head. It is up to him if he wants to take that. But if you mess with Paul, you're going to get the glove. You know the drill around here. Okay. I want to talk about Tommy Lloyd's remarks first, though. I disagree with Tommy Lloyd here. Tommy Lloyd put out that he said that the fans need to be better. That they just the performances aren't elite. I've got a couple problems with this. First, my buddy Rob Lance, and I think Brad Alice put this out there too. A lot of the gimmicks that the administration tries to do are just stupid. They kill the flow of the game. You don't need like the floating pony or whatever that thing is, or the.
That's that's advertising.
Well, I get it, but it's very corporate. When something becomes very, very corporate, it's difficult to make it. If you watch a Duke game, they don't. I mean, it's not to the extent they don't have these gimmicks. Arizona, I think, deploys way too many gimmicks. That's my first thing.
I think the biggest issue with this isn't even the comment. And there's a lot that McKale can do to fix things. The administration, especially miscommunication, sterile environment at times. I get it. Whatever. The timing is just terrible. You just lost to Kansas. Someone, asked you about the Kansas environment. You didn't have to mention Arizona.
Right.
It's just, I always tell people, read the room, right?
Yeah.
Tommy Lloyd was not reading the room. And as soon as he said it, I even tweeted, I go, oh, I think I know how we're going to see this being taken. Like Arizona fans, generally, the majority of them are going to be like, that's what you're complaining about right now.
Right. You just and again, that's I think what's disappointing too is, and I think I hope Ray put this out, I think on your board or maybe put it on Facebook. He said, and I thought this was something that was interesting. He said, you know, you've just lost 5 of 8 games. You just made a decision that nobody understands by putting a 6'6" player on a 7'3" player for the entire game. And that 7'3" player, to nobody's surprise, just dropped 45 points. There's a time and a place. If you want to bring that up, I don't know that I would be bringing it up while you've just lost 5 of 8. And you also are in a situation where you just made some really questionable coaching decisions. I don't know. Plus, as great Brad Rich says, 11 p.m. on a Tuesday versus 4 p.m. on a Saturday is there's a lot difference there. Plus, Arizona didn't even tell people to stick around.
Yeah, so that's my biggest issue, and this goes back to the admin and the communication. So they get an email sent, season ticket holders, whatever, say that there's going to be a pregame ceremony, and there was. The game ends. The PA announcer gets on and goes, everyone have a great night. Thank you for coming to the regular season, blah, blah, blah. 4 or 5 minutes later, he gets on and he goes, please remember to stay for the senior. Well, no, man. 5 minutes later, everyone's gone.
The paw's out of the bag.
Right. I even turned to Brian Peterson at the game. I go, wow, they're not doing a senior thing. Tommy must be pissed at how the game went. And then literally 2 minutes later, like, stay. Well, no, it's too late. Everyone's gone.
Nick, we had a good talk yesterday. Good DM, Nick. We cleared some air, but I disagree though here, Nick. I think that was a shot because he was asked about Kansas and then he turned it into Arizona. I think he kind of knew that. I think he kind of knew that, you know, what he was doing there. Again, that's his prerogative. Again, like I always say, Tommy Lloyd's won 80-something% of his game. I'm Mike Luke. You know,
we're gonna see. Yeah. We're gonna see because I mean I don't know if he's having a presser. It'd have to be tomorrow, I think, actually. I don't know yet, but if he does, I'm very curious if he addresses it.
Yeah, and the other thing too, where I'm a little circumspect is nobody and again, maybe I'm just getting defensive for Arizona fans. Nobody travels like Arizona fans in the Western United States. I mean, they put their money where their mouth is. There's a reason that Arizona brings in so much revenue, and a big reason why is because of that fan base. That's just kind of where I'm at with that one. It's his right to say that. It wasn't like he said anything that, you know, was personal or anything. But at the end of the day, I didn't really like the remark, but it is what it is. Okay, now let's get to a couple things. Hold on. And again, we got to pay some bills around here, as you know, because again, listen. You don't look at me and say, man, Mike Luke, he ain't getting money. If I beg on the media, nobody's going to give me money. So I got to beg in other ways. Here we go. Sure. I can't see anything. Where are you? Sure.
I'm right here. Mike, look closer.
Sure. Oh,
God.
Arizona Primary Eye Care. Oh my gosh.
That was scary.
Look at these Tom Ford glasses, baby. Woohoo! I got these Tom Ford glasses from Arizona Primary Eye Care, and I feel very, very good about it. I'm taking the lovely missus there to get some glasses there here soon as well. Big shout out, by the way, that everybody who came out to the watch party was fantastic. Sheer did great as well. Very proud of him. And here's what we got to do at Arizona Primary Eye Care. Fill it up. Whop. And let's get them in there. Again, they're not going to do anything. They're not going to remove your eyelids. They're not going to do anything. They're not going to do anything like that. They're going to give you the necessary treatment, and it's cool as well. Very much appreciate Arizona Primary Eye Care. They are fantastic. Also, another way. Oh, by the way, Luis Ordonez. U of A games have more ad reads than the AZ12 podcast, and they are not as entertaining. Well, thank you, sir. All right, now hop in. Let's see, what do we got? Longview. Sheer?
Yes. I sat next to the man. I sat next to the man. The man that you announced to everyone at the watch party.
I discovered Andre Veras. Yes. All right. I discovered Andre Veras. My mom also asked me, she said, it was funny. She said, is this Andre Veras right there? And then I said, it was funny. I said, yes. I think she was expecting him to be like 7 feet tall and like one of those like gladiators from like Mississippi or Mississippi. Gladiator? I don't know. A gladiator.
Typical Mississippi Gladiator.
Yeah, Andre Veris, the Mississippi Gladiator.
That's a good nickname. We're going to call him that now.
Andre Veris, the Mississippi Gladiator. Yes. All right. Either way. Whoop, whoop, whoop. All right. But again, we got to be very, very clear about Andre Veris, though, Sheer. Very clear about this. We cannot endorse him.
I was telling everyone that at the watch party. I said, look, I cannot endorse this guy, but talk to him because I'm highly recommending him.
Yeah, we can't endorse him. Check it out, Andre Veris, though. He is the man. He can help you get rich. Also, my guy Marcus Price is in here. Marcus Price is in here, by the way. One of my favorite people. Awesome book signing. Get his book, The Backcourt. Very, very good. Jeremiah Dibble in here as well. All right, now let's talk a little bit about Arizona. Let's talk a little bit about Arizona, Kansas. Let's see here. Joseph. Mike, don't worry. When we have a first or second round exit again this year, your community here will be there to help pick up the pieces. I love you, Joseph. I don't know that I agree with much on Joseph, or he agrees with me on much, but Joseph's one of my favorite people. I want to be like Joseph at some point. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about Arizona, Kansas. Tobe Awaka on Hunter Dickinson. By the way, did you know that I was on the Kansas board? One guy referred to him his H-Dick, and it wasn't
No, that's probably his nickname. Let's go with it.
H-Dick. All right. Well, you put a 6'6" man. It doesn't matter, a man of girth, but you put him on H-Dick, who is 7 foot.
We're using this, by the way. There's no doubt about it.
I meant to send you this last night.
Yeah, you are H-Dick from now on.
You put a walk on H-Dick, and he killed him. Duh. I don't know what else to say. Of course, he was going to do that.
You know what? This is maybe the first game all year where I thought to myself, man, they really miss Krivas.
Yeah.
Right? Because Krivas would have been perfect on Dickinson. I'm also very curious to see how they guard, assuming Kansas beats the powerhouse of UCF or Utah. I am very curious to see how they cover H-Dick on Thursday. Do they do the same thing? I kind of think they do.
I'm going to ask this on Twitter. I'm going to ask Kansas people. I'm going to say, is this really a thing, or is this just like a one-time off? So, but here's what my problem, though, with H-Dick is that H-Dick was shooting wide, like 2-foot shots the whole game.
Well, there's nothing. We said it when we were watching the game together. I looked at it. I was like, dude, like, I love Awaka. He plays his butt off. He's really good at rebounding. He offers nothing defensively. He's given up 5 inches.
Right. You're giving up 5 inches. You're giving up 5 inches to H-Dick. I mean, come on, man.
And then Henry just isn't strong enough.
Right.
It's a bad matchup for Arizona. But yeah, Henry was bad too. That's not getting enough attention. Henry was awful.
I do agree with that, but at the end of the day, though, if your plan is to put Tobe on him and say, you know what, we just don't want Henry to get into foul trouble. Well, Henry got into foul trouble anyway. Wasn't guarding him.
Knowing Arizona's rotations suck all year, do you take your chance doubling H-Dick?
No, not initially. I would put Henry on him, and I would see what Henry can do.
But they did, and Henry got in foul trouble. And
No. They put a walk on H-Dick, and then he got it going early on.
I'm just saying, Henry got in trouble guarding H-Dick. You see what I'm saying? Like, I think Tommy was worried that Henry would foul the game quickly, which he pretty much. Henry was bad. That really is what changed everything. Henry couldn't even be on the court.
All right, one guy that was all right now. Adam Prim, I would agree. I would agree with this on one front. Here's where I'm at. I love Tommy.
This is starting to piss me off a little bit. Not Prim, but there's a few people that need to.
No.
The right place here with assistant coaches.
Yeah, we need to be very clear about something here. I'm not getting used to the H-Dick term. Well, you better get used to it, Nifty Cello. Oh, that's sexy, by the way. Look at that hat. Here's where I'm at with the assistant staff. And
I'm gonna tweet this, by the way. I'm tweeting H-Dick.
No, ask Kansas. Just say
Kansas fans.
Is this actually a thing?
That Hunter Dickinson. Okay, I got it. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. All right, does Tommy need to revamp the assistant coaching staff? There's one addition that I would make. I have, and I'll be honest about this. You and I are actually fairly privileged on this one to know a couple of the assistant coaches, to know how they, know how hard they work, how hard they grind. Jack Murphy, I know I annoyed Jack Murphy, but Jack Murphy likes me. But nobody works harder than Jack Murphy. TJ Benson is the same thing. TJ Benson, both those guys. Steve Robinson, he's done a lot of good stuff throughout his career, no doubt. But Arizona needs somebody that is more active, in my opinion, in certain circles than Steve Robinson is. I don't believe when you have somebody like Tommy Lloyd and those coaches, I think you need somebody that's got their ears to the street a little bit more. And I just don't. And again, Robinson's an older guy. That is a situation that I would look to upgrade. Yes.
I love Murph. I mean, he recruits his butt off. I know TJ, people still question TJ because, blah, blah, blah. It's his first year. So, like, when someone goes, who has he landed? Well, I mean, it's his first year.
Yeah.
He's the lead recruiter on every guy in the state.
Yeah. And he knows everybody in the state, too.
His dad is prominent in the state. He knows everyone. He's been around for years, every year in the state. He's fine. Robinson's the one. Robinson's the one. Great guy. Don't get me wrong.
Great guy.
I know I always say that when I'm prefacing, when I'm saying the obvious, but
prefacing or prefacing?
Yeah, prefacing, prefacing, all of it. You gotta.
It is what it is, man.
What does he do? I don't know what he does.
Again, when I get somebody that'll be like, I got somebody the other day that said, well, he's been on 5 scouts this year. Well, I'm cool, or whatever it is. I need, at this stage in the game, here's kind of where I'm at. I need a staff with Tommy Lloyd. How do I put this? I like Tommy Lloyd a great deal, but I think I don't know that Tommy Lloyd, nobody's ever going to mistake him for Sean Miller and being a dynamic recruiter. I think that's fair to say. Is that fair to say? Nobody's ever going to mistake him and say that. So if you're not a dynamic recruiter as a head coach, I think you've got to have a staff of assistants that are dynamic recruiters. I wouldn't necessarily call Murph or TJ dynamic recruiters, but they're grinders, though. They are guys that will be at every game. They are going to know every single player. They are going to be able to do all of that. Cody, put the link in, by the way, if you can, for the hat. So I'm fine with that, but I need somebody I need somebody dynamic. I need an Orlando Antigua type. Somebody like that. How about that? That's a shout out.
You know what they need? They need what I call an MFer. And Floyd is that guy where he would get into you and all that. Murph really isn't that guy. TJ's not that guy. They need someone that can yell at you and then be your best friend 30 seconds later.
I agreed. They need a Book Richardson type. Seriously.
Right. Yeah.
Jack Baker. Hold on a second. Jack Baker, comment right here. Miller is not better than Lloyd. That is effing crazy. No, I'll take Tommy Lloyd every day of the week. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking with, as far as recruiting, as far as a dynamic figure. Sean Miller could sell some of the dumbest stuff I've ever heard in my life, and kids bought it. It didn't matter. He would, I always tell the story about Josh Green talking about how he wanted to go play for Sean Miller because with Sean Miller, it was amazing because the Arizona just got up and down and dunked and just threw alley-oops all game. And I'm like, I guess I must have missed those 5 years. But either way, it doesn't matter. Kids bought it. So, and Sean had a presence. I think you were the one who was telling me one time that you were able to sit in on something one time, and you're just like, dude, I wanted to run through a brick wall for him.
I've seen one of Sean's recruiting presentations.
Right.
And he would make like PowerPoints and everything and talk about the power of Arizona. And by the time he was done, like if you didn't commit, I thought there was something wrong with you.
Yeah.
Like there was a problem.
Yeah. So, but that's what I would do. And again, I love Murph. I love TJ. They're great. And again, Steve Robinson, good dude, but I need more from that position. I'm just gonna be honest about that one. Okay, let's see here. Oh, we got something here. Hold on a second. All right, now Sheer. Let's look a little bit ahead. Then I think Arizona's going to beat Kansas. We're going to talk about this more tomorrow. By the way, we have Bruce Pascoe on the show tomorrow. To give you an idea about Bruce texted us at 2 a.m. in the morning yesterday, or 2 a.m. at his time. Bruce just getting out of last call and then deciding to drunk text us. But he's going to be coming on. Sheer said tomorrow, he said, hey, Reed, I don't think Bruce is going to mind. Read Bruce's itinerary for tomorrow.
This is awesome.
I don't think Bruce will mind.
Let me find it. Okay. I got to get back to you. Wall-to-wall stuff. 3 podcasts, 2 stories, your Mark Presser, staff meeting, and 4 games to keep an eye on. And then I got to do another podcast about NBA prospects on Arizona. So really, it's 4 podcasts for Bruce.
Yeah. It's Bruce is doing 4 podcasts and all of that. Also, we have something. I'm going to tweet this later. If you see Bruce in public, it doesn't matter whether you're at a game, whether you're in public, ask to take a picture with Bruce. And then we need to get it out on Twitter.
Not in the middle of the game, though. Not in the middle of the game.
Not in the middle, but if you see him like walking around or, kissing the babies.
Big Bruce.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this. Wildcat Fanalytics. By the way, you guys need to follow Wildcat Fanalytics. You guys need more podcasts up so I can steal your information. With giving you no credit. This is an interesting question. Can Tommy become the type of leader who can help a guy like KJ embrace kind of redemption year as a junior?
Yeah, why not? What do you mean?
Yeah, I don't. I think what he's asking. I know, but I think what he's asking. Yeah, he does. But I think what he's asking is, can he sit there and have that hard discussion with him about? I need you to be able to. I need you to be able to do this, and that. That's. I think that's a fair question.
I hate to bring up your boy here, but he brought up Kylan. Right, he had that talk with Kylan at the end of last year. Remember, Mike, when the season ended,
left.
No, well, I'm not saying KJ is going to stay either.
Right.
What I'm saying is, I think Tommy lays out a plan, and the rest is up to KJ.
Right. I would agree with that. Now, when it comes to Carter, I believe with Carter Bryant and with I believe one of the two will be on the team next year. Carter Bryant or KJ Lewis. I don't believe both will be on the team. I don't have any insight on that. That's just what.
And I'll go one step further. I'd rather have Carter.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, I don't. Carter next year as a junior or as a sophomore would be absolutely awesome.
I think Carter, and I love the family. Like, I've known them for years. I know that guys don't go to the NBA when they're ready. Ready for the NBA is a fake statement these days.
Right.
Carter needs to come back for another year. He needs one more year of college ball.
And you know what it is, too, with Carter is that it's not, yes, you could maybe get on an NBA roster. I worry about, because I think Carter, I love Carter as well. Families, the Pops is great. Great dude. The thing with Carter, though, is that I worry about Carter kind of getting wrecked emotionally because Carter, again, is young. You watch Carter out there and he looks like a fetus. Like he's just very, very young. And, it's just like
Carter
I said,
the fetus Bryant.
Carter the fetus Bryant and Andre the
stick. My God.
Yeah, and Andre the what was it? The Mississippi Gladiator Varys.
Mississippi Gladiator Varys.
Yeah. So
it would be so Arizona if Kansas lost and they don't get to play Kansas again.
Oh yeah, that really would. That really would. Okay. Now, I love Jeremiah Dibble. Here's my thing with Jeremiah. Here's my thing where I disagree with Dibble though. I think. Yeah, and I love Dibble. Dibble's one of those guys, too. You never want to offend him in person because he could definitely... Dibble's one of those guys that's country strong. Like, he steps outside and it looks like he could lift up a tractor with his arm. I bet he could. Oh, did I ever tell you? I was hanging out with him and BJP one time, and I'm a pretty strong guy. And Dibble goes up there, and Dibble's like 8 beers in or whatever, and he gets like this dumbbell that's like 100 pounds or something. No warming up or anything, and then he curls it, and I'm like, man, that's girth right there. That is girth in the flesh.
There's strength. There's different levels of strength there.
Yeah, exactly. That picking up a tractor is a different thing. Okay, but I just think with Sean here, I think Sean got as far as he could. Now you could say Elite Eight's cool. I get all of that. Totally get all of that. But at the same time, he was here 12 years and didn't get to the Final Four. I tell people this all the time. If you want to sit here and tell me that I will take anybody's bet that if Tommy's here 12 years, he'll get to a Final Four. That's just where I put it.
It's the same. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Andre Varys in here. Dibble is awesome and a great poker player. Andre, the Mississippi Gladiator Varys in the comment. Okay. Now let's get to some things that annoy me though, because there are many things that do annoy me. But first, where are we going? Where are we going first here, Cody? What are we doing? Bridge Tech, baby. Bridge Tech Communications. Our guy Tony is the man. Let's say you got a gym out there, or a health and wellness spa, and you're like, you know what? I need to be able to get this out. I need to be able to let people know, and I need to be able to go with somebody that is that has a lot of clients, that knows what he's doing. And guess what? This is the place. Bridge Tech Communications, bridgetechcommunications.com. Let's say that you're trying to say you're opening a men's clinic. Or is there a such thing as a women's clinic, or is it just a men's clinic?
If not, we need to make sure there is.
Yeah, if there's not such thing, then you need to get with Bridge Tech Communications and make that happen. Either way, do it. Check them out. They are fantastic. They come in here. He gives us super snaps a lot as well. Bridge Tech Communications has over 1,000 clients in the Western United States. Very, very good stuff. Bridge Tech Communications. Now, what else do we have here? Yummy, yummy in my tummy. RJ's Frozen Cactus, my friend. RJ's Frozen Cactus. Sheer, you were at the RJ's Frozen Cactus party, and you did a very good job. I was proud of you.
I had 75% of a beer, too.
Yes, you did. Yes, you were awesome. You got to meet people. And the other thing, too, about Sheer that's so great is that Sheer will be the first person to admit this. Sheer has social anxiety. I do not have social anxiety. My anxiety is that I'm a dork. But I don't know that I'm anxious about that. I freely admit it. Either way, Sheer worked the room. He was very, very good. I was proud of Sheer. Sheer, you did a very nice job. Very good.
Honey. Thank
you. Yes. Wop, 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 wop. And then Sheer started twerking on the table. I'm just kidding. But yes, exactly.
People took body shots off me. It was crazy over there.
Yeah, no, it was crazy. But either way, it was a great time. Appreciate everybody that showed up. We're going to probably have one here this week as well. Okay. We got the big dog in the background, Coyote Brody. Well, Coyote Brody, we're running a little bit late. We're going to get you on in about 8 minutes or so, if that's okay with you. All right, now, Arizona. You look at these bracketologies. Arizona still looks like he's a 4 seed, like
4 or 5.
It's a 4 or 5 seed,
which is kind of interchangeable at this point.
Right?
Yeah, it won't be a 3. I honestly think even if it wins the Big 12 tournament, it won't be a 3.
Yes.
6 is possible. 6 is possible. They lose.
Stop, young man. If Arizona beats Kansas, Tech, and Houston, they're getting a 3 seed. Stop.
It's close, dude. Because who are they going to replace on the 3 line, Mike?
Oh, they can replace anybody, man.
Your 3s right now are Tech, so maybe they would replace Tech. A&M, Wisconsin, and Kentucky.
Yeah, none of those teams do anything for me.
Arizona's probably the last 4 or like the first 5 right now.
Look at Joseph. So will Mike stand on business when LeBron messes with the paw? Absolutely. My response to LeBron would be like, LeBron, we know that hair is fake. Get rid of that hair right now. It looks stupid. It's beneath you. But Andre Veras. Oh, the great Andre Veras, 1999 Super Snap. I was thinking about this the other day. I don't know who's donated more to this podcast. It's either Andre Veras or Jeremiah Dibble. These guys are amazing. All of my triple ply toilet paper has basically been paid for by these young men who are much more successful than me, obviously. 1999 Super Snap. I'm curious if Arizona fans are ready for next season's schedule, because if they are flipping out over this year's loss, just wait till next year. Damn, that's a brutal schedule. That's something that I got to give Tommy Lloyd a lot of. I got to give Tommy Lloyd a lot of credit. This dude schedules. I thought when he was in the Big 12, I thought that he would maybe take a step back. He has not taken a step back. He has said, I am going to bring the glove further into this situation.
Yeah, and it's not changing. They still have a couple games, and they're not going to be easy games. Next year's schedule is going to be awesome. And I think a big part of it, Mike, is RPI is no longer a thing.
Yeah.
So like when Sean used to schedule, they basically, and I know this for a fact, they would like fool the RPI. So what you do is you play a team like Colorado State, right? Who is actually good for your RPI, but may not be all that great of a team. That goes away now. That's gone. So now it's just, we're going to schedule hard, and hopefully we split, and then we do pretty good in conference, and we'll always be a top 4 seed.
Yeah. All right. Well, either way, I like what Tommy does. I think it's good for the fans. Now, I got to ask a question that the great Dennis Walsh asked about it. And Dennis Walsh, if you're out flying above, gallivanting over like the Sonoitas or whatever the case may be, can you gallivant in a plane?
Yeah, I'm looking at this Coach Riley's comment. I don't understand it at all.
All right. I do want to ask a question that Dennis Walsh did ask. And I think it's a fair question. If you're a good coach and you win a lot of games, you can get away without doing community stuff. I get all that. And Dennis Walsh asked me this, and I didn't really have an answer for it. And again, I'm not necessarily,
I saw this question. Go ahead, though.
I think it's a fair question, though. I mean, Tommy does, to my knowledge,
the only thing, by the way, the question was, does Tommy
do anything in the community?
Sports? The only thing with other sports I know is that he's gone out to tennis a few times, I think. But in terms of community, no. And it's a basketball thing. Sean didn't either. Like, the basketball coaches here are different.
I get it. I get it, but I do think it's a fair question. If you're not going to do anything,
do any basketball coaches around the country do a major? It's different. It's weird.
Rick Pitino does.
What, like the SNL skit?
Well, no, he goes. Or Rick Pitino.
I met.
Well, no, but he eats at the local restaurant, Italian
restaurants.
Okay. Yeah,
well, I mean, Tommy goes to Bob Dobbs.
Yeah. The reason I'm going to give Tommy a pass on this, and I'm going to tell somebody a story here, and I think it's a fair point. I've seen Tommy at Bob Dobbs with that Muehlbach loser, and that guy, he was very approachable. People came up to him, talked with him. Mm-hmm. You know, he had his hat backwards. He was just a normal dude. And that's rare. I mean, Sheer, you've covered this a long time. That's rare to see something like that, where a guy is just kind of a normal guy.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think Sean was normal. I don't know why I keep bringing up Sean, only because he's the previous coach. He hated going outside. He would absolutely, and if he went to a restaurant in Tucson, it would be the back table in the dark.
Yes, where he could avoid Bruce. But yes, I'm going to give Tommy that, because I think if you see Tommy out in public, he's going to be pretty good to you. But I think it's still a fair question. All right, we got a couple minutes left with Sheer, and then we got Brody, and then we got a special surprise guest coming in here in a second, or a little bit. LOL, Brad Rich, Rick Pitino eating dinner at the local mafia restaurant isn't getting involved in the community. Well, I don't know. But all right, I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this seating here for a second. Arizona, you signed me up for, if I am in a region with where Florida and Michigan State are the top two seeds. What?
That interesting. Michigan State's like the hottest team in the country.
I don't care. I've watched Michigan State like 5 or 6 times. I'll take my chances against me. They are good, but again, they're not going to. Arizona is going to lose to teams by doing one of two things. Sorry for keeping you awake. They're going to lose by basically saying, "Here's the ball, go dribble it the other way and dunk it." Or, hey, there's a wide open 3. Hope you don't take it.
I was sitting next to our guy, Andre Aeris, at the watch party.
Who I discovered.
And he had the Alabama-Auburn game on his phone. And we were watching it back and forth. And all I could think to myself was, these teams would beat the hell out of Arizona.
Yeah, but you know what? Tournament's a whole new thing. Well, we're not trying to sell that. We're trying to sell hope right here, Sheer, and you're just bringing the hantavirus into this.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Like, I honestly, like, Auburn and Alabama would destroy Arizona right now. They would.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, but that's not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Florida.
Florida's good.
You also buy, but you're buying all the. You're
like
buying
Florida
all the.
Went to Auburn to beat Auburn,
dude. You're buying all of the SEC crap. How's Missouri? How's Missouri look?
I think Missouri's beatable by Arizona.
Right.
Let me go down the line. Do you think Arizona could beat Duke?
No.
Okay. Do you think Arizona could beat Auburn?
No.
Arizona, Houston on a neutral floor?
Likely no.
Arizona, Florida on a neutral floor.
I think Arizona can. I don't think they would, but I think they can beat Florida.
Tennessee?
Yes, they can beat Tennessee.
I agree. Bama?
No, because here's what Arizona will do is they will allow them to just shoot 50 wide open threes the entire game.
All right, we're almost done. Texas Tech?
Yeah, they can beat Texas Tech.
Okay.
Yeah, they can beat Tech.
Michigan State?
Yeah, they can beat Michigan State.
Iowa State?
No.
So you think Arizona's could beat 2 out of the top 10 teams?
No, I said more than that.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did. I said that they could beat Tennessee.
Yeah.
I said that they could beat Michigan State.
Oh, and Florida. You think Florida at 27-4 sucks?
And who? Yeah, well, you're the one that bought Michigan. Sheer was telling me earlier in the week.
I moved off Michigan real fast. I said but Michigan's done in Arizona. Their metrics have dropped, and they've been being awful. They've lost 3 games in a row, and they've looked awful doing it.
All right. Sure, we're gonna be back tomorrow with you. Everybody stay on the phone or on the phone. Everybody stay on here though, because we have one of the rising stars of the entire industry coming up here, and one of the tallest people that you will ever see in your life. We're gonna get his take on the
Large
Young
man.
Bucks.
Large
Yeah, a
man.
large man. Girth.
Girthy large man.
When you think of girth, you think of Brody Dryden.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest here. All right. We got Bruce tomorrow at 10:30. Bruce is pretending that he might be busy. Bruce won't be busy. We'll make sure that he's got this. Okay. Let's see. All right. Now, on that note, Sheer.
Thank you, everyone. Wildcat Authority, Wildcat Podcast with Shelby recording a football episode tonight. Goodbye, everyone.
Right. Get it right, buddy. All right. Yeah. Wop, 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 wop. All right, now, we are joined, oh my gosh, one of the largest people in the world, the great Brody Dryden. Hello, Brody Dryden.
Hey, Mike, how are you?
Not bad, not bad. I like that Sidewinders hat you got on there.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Trying to rep Tucson. I was inspired by the great Justin Spears. He
hat was awesome.
He posted his like collection of Sidewinders, and I think he had like a Tucson Padres hat or something, and wore mine today. Also having a bad hair day, so why not?
Oh, you don't have a bad hair day. It's impossible to have a bad hair day with that hair. Right.
Thank you, Mike. You're being too kind to me.
No, I know. Well, yeah. Now you're about to get the paw. I'm just kidding. All right. So let me ask you this, Brody, and then we're going to get to some Arizona baseball. By the way, everybody said that voice, a voice made as some people are blessed, where God just touches them and says, you will be able to speak with a powerful voice. Brody Dryden, those broad shoulders were touched. Good job, Brody.
I honestly don't know how. I remember, I was like a late bloomer when it came to like puberty. I remember being made fun of on Xbox Live. I don't even know, Mike, do you play video games or anything?
I basically, my heyday was GoldenEye James Bond, though.
Okay, nice. Yeah, see, when I was growing up, it was like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, and I remember when I was like 13 years old going on there, I hadn't hit puberty yet, so like everyone on Xbox Live thought I was like a girl, and I was like, I can't wait until my voice voice drops and everything, and then once it finally did when I was like 14 or 15 or whatever, it's like, now it's like.
Can OG
crazy.
Wong confirm this?
Probably, honestly, yeah. I think we became friends around that time. I don't know if where my voice was at when OG Wong and I became friends.
Yeah,
probably around
Brody.
that time.
Brody, your voice is. Look at all these comments about Brody. Hal says Brody looks sneaky athletic. No, he's not. He's a good golfer though. And let's see, Patrick Stark. Patrick Stark was the one. He said, if you guys haven't watched a baseball game on ESPN Plus yet, you are missing out. We're going to get to that here in just a second. Brody also got a girth reference in there as well. We very much appreciate the girth reference.
What rating does this podcast have, Mike? Is it the PG-13 or is it? How many
we can say
are you allowed?
Yeah, but Brody, nobody's watching. It doesn't matter. So
Okay,
it's just us talking.
Just the way we like it.
Yeah, it's just the way we're talking. Just two guys sipping back on a couple brewskis. Okay, real quick, Arizona basketball, and then I want to get we're going to get to Arizona baseball as well. With Arizona basketball, let me ask you this, Brody. You're a Gen Zer. You're one of the young bucks. What would you do as to make things more exciting, maybe from a youth point of view for an Arizona game? Is there anything that the big dog would do differently?
That's a good question. The last game I went to at McKale, I couldn't go to the ASU game, but I was it BYU, the last home game before ASU, or?
Yeah, I think it was. Was.
And I noticed, and I don't know, I can't explain it, but I noticed from the Zona Zoo, I was in the zone. I graduated from the U of A class of 2021.
Nice.
And I had a really good experience, in the Zona Zoo. And I went through some tough years. I got like the Kevin Sumlin years. My freshman year was Khalil Tate. And then after that,
you lived the back the A movement though that Sumlin pushed.
Yes, exactly. I was a staunch supporter of the back the A movement. And in basketball, it was kind of when things were going haywire with the whole Sean Miller kind of FBI stuff, and You know, so I went through a rough era. I mean, obviously growing up in Tucson and going to McKale, it's like I've seen things before then, but it was as a student, I had a really good time in the Zona Zoo, and I don't recall when the decline sort of started, but I noticed on that last home game I went to, I think it was against BYU, all the students in the back looked like they were having way more fun than the students in the front.
Students in the front.
Yeah,
I noticed that as well.
Yeah, and that doesn't count the pep band, because the Pride of Arizona and the pep band, they're great, and they always bring the energy, and they are definitely on one. But I don't mean to necessarily call out like the students or anything, but I just noticed like
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just the people, just reiterating, the people in the far back, all the students in the far back, they were up dancing at every song, having fun. And I don't know if it's because they were the last ones to leave the bars, and so then they end up getting the back seats at the Zona Zoo, and they're having the most fun. But I saw that where it's like, there's so much energy back there. Why can't all the kids in the front, they seem to just be kind of standing there, and apart from the pep band, not really bringing as much energy. It was just an observation I had.
We got a couple questions here about Brody, and I want to talk about it. When did it become? That's a great point. When did Arizona start using the Crip sign as the? Because I don't remember that. When did that become a thing to go like this or whatever it was? The Crip sign or whatever.
I think that broke containment when Nick Johnson was on the cover of Sports Illustrated, and I think he either did it and other students did it. I know it was a thing before that, but when it became like a U of A thing, I think he's on the March Madness preview, or maybe it was just the college basketball preview, and either Nick Johnson was doing it or a lot of the students were, and that to my knowledge, that's when I remember it becoming like a big recent thing.
When my mom, it was funny, my mom posted it one time and she went like this, and I'm like, Mom, don't do that. You're just putting a C. That looks stupid. Broke containment is crazy. That's a great one. I'm stealing that with no credit. Okay, now we're going to get to Arizona baseball in a second, but I got to ask you about a couple Gen Z terms and tell me, you got to be honest with me about, do you use these terms or not? Okay.
I will.
Do you use the term cope?
No, I see that one online, and I feel like it never. I know sus, and cope is sus to me, because it's like, who uses that in real life? I feel like it's like a Twitter thing when somebody like wins or loses an argument and they just like reply with cope, but I'm not even quite sure about that one. So
what about sus?
Yeah, sus for sure. That's like,
does the lady friend use sus as well?
No, and I have to be honest, I feel like I used that like in middle school and high school. Like I've kind of stopped using it lately.
Oh, it's old school.
Have you ever heard Hundo P?
Oh gosh. Oh no. Hundo P. Oh yeah, 100%. We gotta ask we have a guest coming up here in a minute, or that I can't wait to ask about some of these terms. We're gonna save that for one. I got one for you, Mike. Just put the fries in the bag. What does this mean, Joe? You can see the comments, right? You have them enabled, right, Brody? Like on the side?
Yeah. My window is a little small, but let me open it.
Just put the fries sports takes in the bag. I don't get it.
That's another one I've seen that I don't use that, but it's like it's sort of just like a diss where I don't even want to try to explain it, because then I'll end up sounding dumb. But I think it's just saying like, go do your normal job instead of trying to comment on sports, something along those lines.
Oh, I get it. It's a diss. Okay, garbage. That's so dumb. Okay, now we're gonna get to Arizona baseball, but first we got to pay some bills. We got to pay some bills here. Cody James Martin, bring these up. What do we got here? Okay, what do we got?
I like the new glasses, Mike, by the way.
Oh, I know. These are Tom Ford's, baby. Oh, dude, they're over $500. Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
Wow.
Baggins. Hey, look, I got them for free too. Yeah. All right, check this out. Brody Drodden, do you like Baggins?
I love Baggins.
You need to go to Baggins, and you need to use code AZ12 for 15% off. Brody, this makes us look much better than we should. And if the big dog went there,
I have a question.
Oh yeah, I have an answer.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt the ad read.
No, do it. Yeah,
there's a new Baggins up in Scottsdale.
It's Scottsdale. Go to that one. Yeah, it counts.
This is valid there.
All right. Oh yeah. At all 12 locations. And guess what, Brody? You'll get a cookie as well.
Great cookies.
I mean, it's big. Yes. Yeah. So anyways, check it out. Humble brag, Mike. Yeah, it was a humble brag. Yeah, you know how I'm about. But anyways, yeah, Brody, I expect you sometime in the misses here in the next 2 weeks to go there and take a picture and say real time and tag me in it. That will make me feel good about myself.
I got you,
Is
Mike.
is this understood?
Understood. Contract
Okay.
signed.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, now, all right, what else do we got here, Cody? We got a couple more reads. What do we got? All right, Aeris Dental. Got to tell you something. Okay. Brody, have you ever had dental work done?
I've been to the dentist.
Okay. Have you ever been to the dentist where they go in there and you're like, wait a second here. Why are you removing my gums? And why are you putting them in the front of my mouth? And why are you removing my tongue and then telling me it's going to charge $500 to be able to replace the tongue? Have you ever had that kind of work done, or have they ever tried to do that to you?
Yeah. Yes.
You're being humble. I know it's happened to everybody. It's
Yes.
happened to everybody. They don't do that at Aeris Dental. It's old school. They don't remove your gums for no reason, or they don't rearrange your, like, the ogula or whatever that thing is in the back of your throat. They just do. But here's the great deal, though. They have got an implant deal going on. Not that kind of implant, Brody Dryden. Get your Gen Z mind out of the gutter. But they got an implant deal going on where if you get a dental implant for $19.97, you can get one for $19.97. It's called the championship package. And they put a crown on there as well for you. That's a great deal. And go to TucsonImplants.com. We love our guy Land, the man with the master plan. He makes us look good. And like Nifty Cello says, you get to keep your tongue, Brody. That is a big part of all of this. They're not going to remove around. They're not going to put it in the wood shop and say you got to come collect it later, anything like that. It's a good spot. Brody Dryden, I endorse it. How about that?
Yeah, that's important. I definitely want to leave the dentist with my tongue. So that's a top priority.
It is. Our sponsors, they only do necessary treatment. You're going to leave the eye place with your eyelids. You're going to leave the Aeris Dental with your tongue. It's the basics around here. It's for the little man. Okay, now let's talk Arizona baseball. Because Brody Dryden, we need to talk a little bit about where we can find Mr. Brody Dryden doing his thing. Because Brody Dryden is Brody, people have messaged me saying, is this your, I had one guy actually message me saying, is this your Brody Dryden? Well, it's not my Brody Dryden, but talk a little bit about where you're at.
Yeah, I've been doing some of the ESPN Plus broadcasts in Tucson for Arizona baseball, and it's been fun. And so I have been on the past 2 weeks, starting with Arizona's series against San Diego. And that was really great, and just wrapped up a 4-game series between Arizona and Pepperdine. The Wildcats got a 4-game sweep there, but it's been a ton of fun, doing play-by-play baseball. I've done probably more baseball than any other sport in my, I guess you could say, career. I did Tucson Saguaros quite a bit. I've done a little bit of Arizona baseball radio in the past. And then also before, the ESPN Plus deal is obviously something with the Big 12 conference. And so all the sports are being streamed there. I did like kind of the previous iteration, working with the U of A on their old live streams for baseball and softball, things like that. But it's great to continue that work and being involved this year doing Pepperdine. And so tomorrow night, Arizona takes on Arizona State. They're coming down. The Sun Devils are coming into town from Tempe for their non-conference game that they always schedule every year. So this one's going to be in Tucson, and it's going to be the only opportunity for those either watching or if you're going to be in Tucson to see the duel in the desert baseball at High Corbett, because the 3-game series is going to be later in the season up in Tempe. So it's going to be tomorrow at 6:00 on ESPN Plus. You can tune in, and then next weekend as well, or I guess now it's going to be this weekend, Arizona against Cincinnati at High Corbett. I'll be on the broadcast for those as well. So it's been great. It's been a lot of fun.
All right, now, I like Chip Hale. I know there's people out there that don't like Chip Hale. The people that don't like Chip Hale suck. I like Chip Hale. You have a I remember like when he like won early, and they're like, oh, he's not going to be able to recruit. He's not going to be able to get his own players. Well, Brody, this is his roster right here, and they're playing pretty good ball. He knows ball.
He does know ball. He's, you know, I feel like he's got a good mix of, you know, he coached in the major leagues. He was a part of that Washington Nationals World Series a few years ago. And he obviously played at the U of A and then played in the major leagues. He's got a really good mix of knowing the old school style and then bringing the new school into it as well. And one of the biggest knocks, I feel like those first couple years might have been the pitching. You know, Arizona kind of struggled on the mound, but he hired Kevin Vance as the pitching coach, who is now in his second year. He really turned things around last year, and you know they kind of ran into a good problem, if you can have one, because their entire starting rotation was drafted into the MLB. Clark Candiotti, Jackson Kent, and Cam Walty are all now with in major league system. So now it's a new pitching staff for this team. They started out a little rough with an invitational in Arlington, Texas at the Rangers Stadium. They started out 0-3 on the year, but since then they've won 11 of their last 10 games, and the only
11 of their last 10. They are winning at 108% clip. It's amazing.
Or sorry, 10 of their, or wait, 11 of their last 12, I should say.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
11 of their last
10 of their
12.
last 11. This guy's good. He's not that good, Brody.
Yeah. My bad. Math is not my strong suit.
But, well, you got that voice, so
yeah. And their only loss was to Tennessee, the defending national champions of the College World Series there. So they're in a pretty good spot right now, but it's a big game against ASU tomorrow. They've got a very similar record. It might be exactly what Arizona's is at 11-4. Let me double check that. But Arizona's had a tougher schedule so far than ASU. Yeah, ASU is 12-4 right now. So they've had some good series wins and whatnot. But Arizona, it's going to be a good game tomorrow.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk a little bit about Smith Bailey. What are your thoughts on Smith Bailey? Very talented young man.
Sure, yeah, he had a good outing yesterday. He's a freshman.
Very talented pitcher.
Very talented pitcher, yeah, and he can throw it hard, especially for how young he is. I know he ran into a little bit of trouble towards the end of his outing yesterday, but no, he's one of those guys that has potential to one day be just like the 3 starters last year for Arizona were drafted. I think we're going to see him out there with a bright future, because if I'm not mistaken, he, as a freshman, he's already touching the upper 90s with his fastball. So
yeah, it's good.
He's got some good stuff.
That was good. All right, we got a couple Super Snaps teams, or a couple Super Snaps. Okay, all-time favorite Arizona team for all sports. Oh, that's easy. The 2009 Kevin O'Neill team that got bounced in the first round. That's easy. Duh. Brody, what about you?
Ooh, let's see. Any of the Brendan Lavender teams.
Oh, those are big. Those are big. Yes.
Yeah,
all right. Now we're going to get to here. I got a quick read, and then we got a quick read here, and then we're going to get to Andre Veras. He has a question for the Andre Veras, the Mississippi Gladiator. He has a question for you, but first, let's do Cody, did you see my text? Green Valley not Green Valley Rock. I'm all excited. I'm all over the place. Comfort X HVAC, my friend. Hey, do you know this guy named Anthony Gimino, this loser?
Oh yeah, no, I do know Anthony Gimino.
He sucks. Look at him right there. He went through Comfort X HVAC, and he is so happy that he went through Comfort X HVAC. It was one of the best decisions that he said, Brody, that he's ever made in his life. And guess what? It saved him a little bit of money in the process. And again, help us help you, or help me help them, help me, help. I don't know, whatever that term is. Small business with big savings, and like I said, very good. Perfect track record, too. Exactly. Comfort X HVAC. Now we got one more. We got one more here. Brody, make sure, or not Brody. No, Cody, you didn't look at my text. Yeah, all right, hold on. We got a surprise. We got a surprise coming up here. Come on, Cody. All right, Michael Rubin. Here's the deal. Swift Mortgage, the Rubin Group. All right, here's the deal. You might say to yourself, "Man, I need help buying, selling, or refinancing my home." Guess what? This is the dude that can do it for you. The man. The Rubin Group, Swift Mortgage. Use code Grant Jarrett for $500 off closing costs. Again, 520-419-4262. He's been around, senior loan officer. He can get you lower rates. He has access to banks, all kinds of different stuff. Check it out, Michael Rubin from Swift Mortgage and the Rubin Group. Okay,
Oklahoma City Thunder legend, Grant Jarrett.
Yes, absolutely. Now, real quick here, Andre Veras. I'm gonna ask this. You know what? Why don't we add somebody to this chat as well? We're going to add somebody to this chat.
Oh.
Technology at its finest. Hello, Brian Jeffries. Fancy seeing you here.
Hey, Mike Luke. How are you?
Not bad. Just talking. You know this guy in the middle at all?
Vaguely familiar. Oh, no, I do recognize him now. Yes. Okay.
Yes. We got the goat and the mini goat in here. First of all, talk a little bit. I've had
if
people.
You're calling, wait a minute. You're calling Brody Mini. Have you stood next to him lately?
Oh, well, I know. It's a play on words.
Okay. All right.
Hey, Brian, I've been called Mini my whole life. I view it as a compliment. Well, it's not a compliment, but okay. Yes. Talk a little bit. We get people in the chat that mentioned this immediately once Brody came on. Can we talk about Brody's voice for a second? Because this was a voice gifted by God, and it's not like the GOAT Brian Jeffries doesn't have an awesome voice as well. That voice is to kill for, Brian. I don't have.
You start him early on whiskey and cigars, and it's amazing what can happen.
Yes. Hey, let's talk a little bit about it, though. I wanted to get both of your guys' take. I listened to Brody a lot. Obviously, when he first came into the office, I've always told people this. I knew that he was a little bit different. Let's talk a little bit about Brody's, just from watching his progression and how good he is. I mean, I get people all the time whenever he's on, the tweet at me immediately, and they're like, "Oh, Coyote Brody's on." Just talk a little bit about watching it from your perspective, just the progression. I mean, this dude's on ESPN Plus right now.
Well, I've known Brody for a
long time,
26 years now, and I could probably tell early on that he had the ability to do exactly what he's doing. No, I'm very proud of what he's been able to accomplish, and I wish I could take some credit for it. But it just comes down to hard work, listening, determination, all those things that you need to do to get into the business and be successful in the business. And he's accomplished all those and more, and a lot more to come on top of that.
Now, Brody, let me ask you this: how much? And again, don't be modest here. How much of what you did you glean from just growing up and watching your pops, how he did everything? And because the thing that's amazing about you, and people message me about this all the time, is just how technically, I mean, you're very good technically. You're in and out. You call the game. It's, for your age, it's pretty impressive stuff. How much of that was from just, watching your pops up close?
Well, yeah, thank you, Mike. And you're always bringing me on with surprise guests. I feel
yes,
like
this one was my favorite, though.
Yeah. No, well, absolutely. Well, I mean, I grew up. I don't know what age I was when I started spotting next to you up in the booth at Arizona Stadium, and I feel like I didn't even necessarily think like, "Oh, I want to do that," because being in between my dad and Lamont, and it was kind of a stressful situation. It's like I loved watching the football games, and it was very exciting, but it was also like, wow, that's a lot of work. There's a lot of homework you're doing to know every single thing about every single player. And it wasn't really until a little bit later that I realized, like, wow, this is actually a fun thing to do. It's not it's something really cool and really fun. So it definitely doesn't hurt growing up, being next to my dad, watching him do his job, and listening, even when on road games, when we're not at the game, kind of putting on the TV, turning on the radio and muting the TV. So I've listened to a lot of what he does, and I certainly could only hope to be a fraction of what you are on the air. So it's been a lot of fun doing this and having the opportunity on ESPN Plus and all these opportunities around the U of A and around Tucson and broadcasting. I'm just trying to have fun with it and do all I can, because it's important to communicate to the fans and anybody listening what's going on. I feel like that's most important, not what I'm doing, or it's not necessarily about the broadcaster. It's about the teams and what the fans want to know.
Brian, what do you try to impart? Like, what are some of the basic, just kind of advice, clips that you would, for somebody like Brody that's, starting and excelling? What are just some of those basic fundamentals, not like kind of the, the inside baseball stuff, but kind of the key aspects to just stick on?
Well, I think, Mike, that's the best word right there, and it's basics. And I tell students all the time that that's what you have to achieve to hit that level first, the basics. If you're calling a game, what's the score? Where's the ball? How much time is on the clock? Who's got the ball? I mean, the things that fans see if they're sitting in the stands. And as a radio broadcaster, you have to paint that picture. And so I think that's the most important thing, that once you can accomplish that and get the basics down, then you kind of go from there, and then your personality starts to come out. I think the mistake that some young broadcasters make is that they think they've got to come up with a catchphrase, or they've got to, do something fancy to get attention. And that's not the case. At some point in your career, yes, that can become part of your, I guess, your resume, if you want to call it that. But you got to cover the basics first. And, I have some principles that I talk about all the time, and in terms of getting jobs, and, you got to be persistent, you've got to be patient, you've got to be prepared. And if you can follow all those things, you've got a chance. And, there's natural talent that comes into it. But at the same time, there's a lot of people that maybe would be considered. I mean, I never thought of myself as a talented person, but I thought I pride myself on working hard. And I think, right, if you work hard at it, you overcome any of your shortcomings.
Can we talk a little bit, too, about the grind that Brody's put in here? Because he's been doing this now for a while. I remember Brody calling women's basketball games solo by him. That is not something that's easy. Brody, you've cut your teeth quite a bit, my friend.
I think, honestly, for the most part, a lot of my experience so far, I would not. I appreciate the credit, Mike, but I wouldn't categorize it as too much of a grind. I feel like it's an honor, and I love doing it, and compared to a lot of other different jobs, I mean, there is hard work that goes into it. The hardest grind I'd say that I've had as in my broadcasting career was when I was doing the Tucson Saguaros, and
interesting,
which was a fantastic experience. But the only reason I say that is because the Pecos League is independent, and scheduling isn't. They have an interesting schedule for each team, and sometimes for Tucson, they would be hosting like a week straight, like seven nights in a row. And so when you're in like game 5 of 7 nights in a row in the summer, and we're playing at like Panther Field in at Amphi High School, and it's in the middle of the summer, and there's a monsoon, and you're wondering if you should evacuate the press box or something. I feel like those were, if anything, those were like the toughest times I've had. But apart from that, anything when it's come to broadcasting U of A sports or otherwise, I wouldn't even categorize it as too much of a grind at this point. It's just been fun.
Yeah, but Mike, I got to tell you something. That's exactly how you grow into this business. If it's too easy, I don't think you're going to make it. And so all of us that have achieved what we want to achieve, I think you start that. That's what you have to go through. You have to go through things like that. I once called a football game in Othello, Washington, standing on top of the concession stand. There was no press box. The temperature at game time was 28. This was a playoff game, by the way, in early December in Central Washington. There was a wind blowing in our face, and you had no table, no nothing. So you're holding your stats in one hand and trying to hang on everything else with the other. And at that time, I'm thinking, well, this is not exactly what I envisioned getting into broadcasting, but I wouldn't trade that for anything, because you go through the grind like that, then it makes you better. And then when you have the luxury of sitting in a press box and having a lot of help around you, then you understand a lot, what other people have gone through and what other people that are there to help you, and you appreciate it a lot more.
I got a story for you. So I actually, I couldn't do it because I don't have your guys' voices. But when I was in college, I was thinking about, I want to try to do this. I want to try to do this play-by-play announcing. So they set me up at a game at San Manuel High School. Okay. And they have like this open press box there. And I was attacked by cicada bugs the entire game. I didn't want to do it. And I was like, man, I was just like, all I want to do is just be able to hear myself speak and give my opinion. It was not the grind for me. That's why I really respect what you guys do, because I was like, this isn't for me at all, especially dodging cicada bugs in the press box. Wasn't good.
I have to admit, I was checked the other day at a baseball game, sort of in my own mind, because it was cold on Friday night here in Tucson, and Arizona was playing Pepperdine, and I think the weather app said it felt like 32 or something. And I was talking to Brett Gleason, the Arizona baseball sports information director, the great Brett Gleason. And I was like, man, I want to shut the window today. It's just going to be so cold. Like I never want to shut a window, but and he was like, no, the players have to go out and play in it. We can sit in the press box and do our jobs in it. And I was like, you know what, Brett, that's totally fair. I should have never even thought about it. And that confirmed it right there.
We had a question, Nate. Can you bring up that, Cody, can you bring up the Super Snap? Because I think this is a good question for the GOAT and the mini GOAT. Where is that? Brody, you've been to a few opponent stadiums. What is an underrated stadium, and why? Both you guys. I think it's a good question for both you guys.
Ooh, an underrated stadium.
Well, Brian, you got some experience. We'll let you go first.
Okay. Well, we're talking football, basketball, baseball.
Whatever
anything?
the GOAT wants.
Okay. Well, when you say underrated, that's an interesting way of looking at it, because a lot of things can go into an underrated stadium. I'm thinking of the age of the stadium. I'm thinking of the fan participation. What's the attendance like, etc. So I don't know. That's a hard one for me to answer, just because I don't know the criteria there.
Is there? Let me rephrase. Is there one that you went into and you were a little surprised? You're like, yeah, this was pretty cool.
I in that case, I would go strictly to baseball.
Okay, yeah.
Because I think in basketball and football, most places you go, it's okay. There's very few bad places that I've been. In fact, I could probably, name them on, one hand. But baseball underrated. Wow.
Oh, we're stumping the GOAT.
Yeah, I do have one now.
What do you got?
It crossed my mind, and I just did a quick Google search to try to remind myself of the name, and it might have changed. But when I was doing women's basketball, I went to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, where Arizona played in this invitational type thing, and they played Louisville, and it was it was kind of an old field house, and it was renovated to make it nice and more updated for the amenities and whatnot. I did a quick Google search. It might be Denny Samford Premier Center. It's in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I feel like they might have changed the name since I went, because it might have had a sponsor or something like that. But
they changed the name because once you went there, it's never the same. They got to change it.
Yeah, exactly. But it was really cool. It was designed like one of those old, like from Hoosiers or something like that, an old field house that you see old clips of basketball games in those, and I really enjoyed that. And I had never heard of it before I was kind of sent there to broadcast Arizona's game against Louisville, and they always invite teams. I think they do men's and women's invitationals every year out there. So that was a really cool one. And in the middle of South Dakota, we had to trek through the snow to get there, and you never would have known it was there. But once you go in, it was gorgeous.
Did you have to carry your equipment with you through the snow, like that huge box that you guys have?
I think I did. I had to carry it. Had to navigate the icy parking lot before going in for that one.
Mike, I will give you one in basketball,
Yes.
I guess. And I don't know if this is underrated or not. Like I said, I'm having a hard time with that term, but the old Mac court at Oregon.
Yeah.
Prior to building their new place. I mean, it was old. It was, wood framed. The floors squeaked. It smelled like 20-year-old popcorn. The people were literally they added balconies after they originally built it, and people are almost looking straight down onto the court. Our broadcast location, I got people who got their knees in my back because of the way they've got it set up. But it was one of the great atmospheres you could ever ask for, just in terms of, you get whatever they sat at that time, 9,000-10,000 people in there, and made a great home court advantage. So I don't know if that's underrated or not. I just don't think that building maybe got enough credit, because when they moved into the new place, they lost that. Oregon lost a lot of that. It's a beautiful building, but it doesn't have that character.
All right, guys, we got to pay one more bill here, and then I'm going to follow up with one more question for you guys. But all right, let's bring this up, Cody. All right, guys. Oh, the goat. All right, you guys. Green Valley Decorative Rock. There is a scurrilous rumor going around about Green Valley Decorative Rock. Have you guys heard this rumor?
I don't think so.
Yeah, the last time I was on with you, I heard this rumor, and I've kept very close track of it.
We have to fight back against this. It is not just in Green Valley, Brody. Wipe that smirk off your face, young man. Wipe that smirk off your face. It is also in Tucson. We've got to fight back against it. And here's the cool thing. If you deliver like a ton of stuff, they get like a ton of stuff, they'll take it out to Marana, they'll take it up to Oracle, Sierra Vista, and Nogales. And Brian, if you want to get rock, and that's not just that, if you want to get pavers as well, they got all kinds of good stuff. They had their best month on record. Green Valley Decorative Rock. If you see somebody on the streets pushing this rumor that they're only in Green Valley, deal with it. That's the best way that I can put it. It takes a community with this one. Okay, guys? I think all right. Got to be clear here. Okay. Now, real quick then. So what's the all right, before we sign off here, what's the next move then? Once basketball's over, going over to baseball, but then we're still going to be getting some Coyote Brody in these games, correct?
Maybe we'll see. Hopefully some
Brody, we're counting on you. Make it happen.
Yeah, we'll see. I know we already talked about I might be hopping on for some of the middle innings in Arizona's trips up to Grand Canyon. They'll be playing up in Phoenix for those games, and then also the 3-game series against ASU up in Tempe. So I might make a guest appearance on those broadcasts, and we'll see with other. We're still figuring things out with ESPN Plus and whatever. I know I'll be on Tuesday for Arizona's game against ASU, and I'm planning on this upcoming weekend, Arizona against Cincinnati as well. So we'll see.
All right,
for me, at least. I know he's got bigger.
I was gonna say,
he's going to be on everything once basketball's over. He'll be on everything. But that's
does Brian have anything else going on as well this time of the year?
Other than the obvious, not a thing. No,
not a thing. Yeah. Just living the life.
Just we'll see what Kansas City has to hold and go from there. And if we're in Seattle, of course, now is this public, Mike, that if Arizona plays an NCAA tournament game in Seattle, that you are going and you're buying me dinner at some unknown secret great seafood restaurant?
Yes, exactly. That's what I do. When I go on a visit, or when I go on a trip and I travel, I take the goat out to get seafood. We are going to go find it. We're not going to the Space Needle. I have a place, but I'm not going to tell you it. You can text me as many times as you want. I will not divulge this information, Brian. I'm not going to do it. Won't do it. All right.
I've checked on Yelp. I've gone through the entire list. I'm anxious to see this magical place.
No, it's good.
That's
Brody,
a risky move, Mike, thinking you know better Seattle seafood than him.
Well, it's not like Brian's got any. It's not like Brian's got any, like ties to the area or anything.
Yeah,
so
I'm just saying, you've got that's a tall.
I know. I got to step it up. I got to be very. Got to be very clear about this. And no, Del Taco doesn't have seafood. Brad Rich in the comments. So, all right. the GOAT and the mini GOAT. Wanted to get you guys both on. This was absolutely fantastic. Very much appreciate both of you guys. And I know I speak for the community and everything you guys are doing. It's awesome to see it. Brian, always a privilege. Brody, it's awesome to see you growing right before our eyes. Well, you don't need to keep growing. You're already like 8 feet tall.
No, thankfully that stopped. Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you,
All
Mike.
right, Brian, Brody, you guys are the man. Again, the voices from God. I do not have that same voice, so I'll leave it on that note. But everybody in the comments, you guys are great. Very much appreciate it. For Brian Jeffries, the GOAT. For Brody Dryden, the 6'8" mini GOAT. I am merely Mike Luke. You have been listening to the AC12 podcast.